the same jeans, right? The same shirt, and Donald was like we do, right? But you can see, you know, it be summertime. Had a hoodie, and they had that do-rag on, and it looked like a big, like, what's under there, cuz? A shrub? No waves. No, it's just their hair packed up on top of their head. Straight up stick-up kids. They couldn't stand them little things, man.
Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the street.
That's the
In the bright glow of the dawn, I see myself clearly, bringing in a new day.
Berry tea.
But oh, when a doing things is done, I don't care what you say. Monsters don't sleep under your bed. They sleep inside your head. And if you haven't done the shadow work,
hey, remember, mix that thing, man. You gotta be taking that, man. Get rid of that phlegm, bro.
I'm envisioning.
I'm gonna show you how to do mine again. It's nasty, but you don't mix it in food and all that, bro. You gotta take this straight. The pork, yeah. By 8 ounces of water. I'm talking about that mullein and cornfield.
Yeah, the cornfield.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Mix mine up. I'm doing mine for 5 days, and I'll just be off for like 5 days. So, like 2 whole drops. You know what I mean? That cornfield is also a detox too. A lot of people don't know about. You know what I mean?
Get back to doing for ourselves, water system irrigation, and grow crops. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets.
2 full droppers, man. But I can't do 2 full droppers. That's just like eating grass, man. You know what I mean? But hey, all the animals are strong. This is too strong, man.
Realize they trying to teach us spiritual, mental, physical diet. They trying to feed us the fire of
Yeah.
Those was like 10.
Well, you see the other ones I got, the other cornfield joint I got, and the moringa. Yeah, that's that. And this one right here, this one I've been doing for a long time. I got some more of these down in Wichita.
Okay, yeah.
That right there, boy. Yeah, there's a lot in there, boy. That is pure cornfield.
So 2 drops. I'm like, okay, cool.
No, you gotta have it like that, huh? Oh yeah. Nah, you gotta have it right. It's gotta be 2 whole. You know what I mean? Cause see, on this one, and this girl party tested too, right? 2 full droppers, bro. All right, check it out. 2 full droppers. That's a dropper. Not right about there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't all the way to the back, but that's what it means when it says 2 full droppers. The other one's like 20 drops, cause this one's. Yeah. Oh, but you can put 1 because you already got. Oh yeah. But hey, no, but I mean, this is. You can't add no sweetener to it, no stevia, none of that. You just gotta. Yeah, man. Well, that stuff is rough going down. Gotta clean this one out too, man. Got my green tea. Clean that up.
Finger fucked and caused my hand, I dealt it. Felt the vibration from the gut of my pelvic. You bust all over some ices and velvet shit. So radiant, I keep a dark room well lit. Cause you little goofies are well quick. Body for real, monster velvet. Body enough for Mars, a female split. As a kid, all I did was fight. I did the bit with a leg. I know I can spit my flows and shit to a fly. So hands on the crucify. A real man, I still stand with the still hand. But we're healer, man. It's not Cypress Hill. I'm Tuttle Sheep. I'm one tough cookie. I don't follow. I set standards. Catch me, you're gonna have to do more to scamper. Need more to scanners. I'm off the radar. I am as your goofies play God.
My goodness. I tell you, they putting something addictive in the food because it's supposed to be normal. You know? Hey, somebody questioned to me in the witch guard says, I ain't watched one of my old videos. What do you mean? There's 14 different pine trees. I said, why don't you Google it, man? I know you're a Google master. I said, we knew this, and when I was a Cub Scout, Boy Scout, you know, Weeblo, Wop, all that stuff. And there's only 7 of them. Only 7 of them you can actually use. The other 7 is dead. Out of the 14 pine trees, only 7 you can utilize. The other 7. You can make some amazing things with them other 7, though. I've done that. I've put stuff in the water, and the fish was stunned and came up. I ain't gonna say how I made it. I've done with 180 proof alcohol, using certain pine needles, sitting for a week, and put on an arrow, and you know. Hey, look, man. Learn while you can. You know, because 7 of them, there's a few of them you can use for tea. You know, with elderberry and all that kind of stuff. And then there's some that you can use with oak leaves and stuff like that on cuts and burns, and you know, it's a lot of stuff. Most people don't know that. That's like acorns. You can take acorns if you got if you have acorns, you can do them like water chestnuts. You can blanch them. You know, put them in water and let the bad stuff, you know, come out of them, and you can make bread with the acorn. It's one of our old ways that's been lost to time. Water chestnuts. When we was in, you know, Eagle Scouts, when I was Eagle Scout, the Jamboree thing, we used to get the water chestnuts, and we used to put them in a big barrel, wooden barrel of water, and leave them for like, I figure like 2 days. Go back, and then we heat them up. Water chestnuts, roasting over an open fire, the Christmas thing. Like, people don't know this, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's things out here that make you strong, and it ain't just raw meat and blood and all that. But we gonna eat our steaks. And then fish. Well, for a moment. We already had planned to be like, when we got our stuff going, that's a wrap. It's about electric food. We process. All right? Yes, every day I'm gonna come on and drink this before you guys. So that way you don't say red and talk and a whole lot of blah, which wouldn't bother me one way or the other. Mr. Lucifer is messing up. I love it, but a little bit left. Boy, that stuff has got a whip to it. You can't play that stuff off. Huh? Yeah. When you take it, it stayed right there. It's right there. My ear was ringing a little bit. Like, do I need to get a Q-tip? What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? We're going tomorrow to wood. Today's a cold day. It's probably 20 degrees out there. Last night got down about 10 to 12. So we gotta dig another hole. So we're not gonna mess with that because it's cold. Tomorrow being the 60s, it was a lot easier to break up and everything, you know what I mean? So get out there, Home Depot, get our wood, and come on back.
Shine your symbols for the conscious mind, y'all. And with that on the temple, draw. I had a vision the past night, yeah, a circulus round, created successful reality from a virtual now. How? Stand on my square cause they usurp your power. Them saying little sneaky breezies that'll hurt you, they smile all up in your face.
Oh, check this out, yo. Alright, so Home Depot, right? So I guess Benson Lumber was kind of correct, a little more. So they said 24, right? For the 2x6x20, right? Right. So Home Depot's 2x6 by 20 foot is like $21.12. So $1, give or take. And then, but we get, you know, I got that app, you know, and then we get the veteran discount. So non-treated though. Yeah, I want to get the years later he's the same degree, just gained density. Gave my synopsis, he's hostage. I prayed I could say I behave by locals. I've raised my moral ground. Way how my character stay fly, the conduct squared up. Self-esteem the day sky. New God on what the world's been waiting for. The days not. They are there and I don't abide by the same ethics. They fame respect, yet obtain the credit for keeping the uplift. Oh, Houston? Word? Wow.
Circumscribe my passions, my squares, my lift. Ask, is it worth the ride? Yeah, it's rash spit, but the beach churchified.
So Hopes, that's the one, the tongue oil, that's what we're gonna treat our wood with. Just gotta get the sponge, you know what I'm saying? And it's like $30, so I can order it and get order like 3 of them on the 1st or whatever, or 15th, and that way we have them. So when as we building, that night before we shut down, we rub all the wood down. It's treated once we get everything built up. So even if it rains and we don't get it tarped up, we don't have to worry about mold and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Because I was gonna burn it. You know what I mean? So, because all the other ones are like about how all those other natural wood, like pine tar and all that, like $80, $100, $200, $400. Like, so you know, I better get the, you know, the one I'm pretty you know what I'm saying, linseed oil. Linseed oil is one of the ones that we used to use when I was in Florida. Linseed oil is good. That's like around $40, $50, and it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? But you really got to know how to put it on the wood. You got to make sure you cover it all the way. Linseed oil that's some old stuff. You know what I mean? So linseed oil and Hope's oil is the two that we'll probably utilize. But we want to keep it as natural as possible. You know what I mean? So you know, I'm big on all that, man. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Let me see, was it Who Can? Who Can? Yeah, Who Can?
All truth is universal. It's certain things that are universal. Honor your mother and father. Want for your brother what you want for yourself. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
This rhythm is quite refreshing. With that being said, permit me to breathe on y'all for a second. Check it out. No need to look afar.
Get some sage burning, bro.
On the foot of God. Wisdom of Tahoe from the book of rock.
Sage burning, bro.
Even after you took Armand, all praise is due. 21 gun salute. Lick shots at you whack rappers. I smack actors. I track trappers down. Place the crown upon my head. Spread my archery amongst the dead backpackers. Bring the royal back to life. Back to reality. It's all about reality, not about a salary. For the love of this light, naturally, Mesoamerica with DGs with bows and arrows be narrowly.
I hope you guys enjoy this read today. It's gonna be, I hope it's pretty. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. Chefs and last is why white Jesus wept and last unsparingly erase every bit of your history. Similar to purification going. Get rid of me. You're a kid to me. My forebears swore theirs were raw for years. I spit keeper the gas fast forward. We can burn the regular sage in this too, you know. Yeah. All hell niggas, nothing on netter. The living word, y'all just some dead letters. Whether Anunnaki or Anasazi, the first Americans were not Africans nor Nazi. Usually when I burn the regular sage, white sage, stuff like that, and let it go out. That's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the windows, the doors, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Ancient commanding gods, myself, my route from South America. We dare to sail back across the Atlantic, through West Africa. Well, we return under the 29th, Perla to Moreau, Nubia. This their skin to tell, don't panic. I'm not here to overthrow but restore. 1, 2, 3, 4, where they fail to record. Even some of our renowned scholars detoured from off the seashore to flee war, just to be more. The rule of God is not for the dishonest man. Why does the sun stand still above a promised land? Well, after gunfire, there's
But we ate last night. I must have fell asleep early again. I thought it was kind of late, but you know how it goes. I woke up about 4, 3:30, 3:30. I don't know.
If I can't do it, then tell me who can.
I think 7 hours of sleep I got. Second day in a row, y'all. But it means something, but don't worry about it.
In this entertainment business, would you agree with that? I agree 100%. There's a lot of backdoor stuff.
It means something.
Gatekeepers in that industry that will not let you come through that door. There's a lot of homosexuality. There's a lot of homosexuality and lesbians. Of course, you know what I mean? Of course.
Scoping out my exit from this matrix where market and promotion is on hatred and fake shit. Create my own wave, I don't chase it, most of what is. The latest is tasteless, overrated. The young beef is beyond me, plant-based, I can't wait to be on. So they rich, catching a case with a plant in caps. In the A-list, they want you at a place stripped on some gay shit. Whether prison or on some playlist, the agenda is the same. Your brain on a slave ship, shine your name on that dot, they got it. Now you famous, couple of dollars in your pocket and a chain to keep you anchored. You angered, deep down, soldier soul can't reclaim it. You didn't try to say shit, but really can't explain it. You had the means to do it, yet didn't change shit. Instead, you continue to entertain us with the same lameness as the rest of the entertainers whose job is to tame us. Simulation is designed to block, shame us. The enemy is even more faceless. Realize the ones that look like us are even more racist. The white man's not the white man. Some might say explain this. First enslaver was a melanated chomo and rapist and his descendants. For sure, are your favorites in all facets of society. Yet what's the status to the sacred? Scoping out my exit from this matrix where market and promotion is on hatred and fake shit. Create my own wave, I don't chase it. Most of what is the latest is tasteless, overrated. The young beef is beyond me, plant-based and can't wait to be on. So they risk catching a case with a plant encamped in the A-list. They want you in a place stripped on some gay shit. You program on a slow spin once the dance done, lights glow down, turn your back on your woke friend, learn the fact couldn't control him. You yearn to rap with bro now, so you burn track with some pole him. What you earn cat on the low end, return
all of them rigging on black seed oil day right now. And like after we eat though, take that right now, I'll be out there earling everywhere.
Frozen, deep in debt. You should step 10 toes in.
Dad, what's going on? Ben J, what's up? Carrie, hey Kane, what's going on? What's up? Got you guys, so you know that. Sharon, what's up, mama? Rich and Lone Wolf, what's cracking?
0% of me's competing with you. That's on phone now. Scoping out my exit from this matrix where market and promotion is on hatred and fake shit. Create my own wave.
I hope you guys got some rest.
The latest is tasteless, overrated. The young beef is beyond meat, plant-based and can't wait to be on. So they rich, catching a case with a plant and camp and the A-list. They want you in a place stripped on some gay shit.
You know, but it's like, it's almost like the powers that be want for you to relinquish your self-confidence, the power that we have and the power that we have in ourselves. They want you to submit that to them before they will allow you being to have the riches and the success and the fame. I have to have something I can help her be just in case you get out of line. I'm glad you said that. I've read an insert and it was a blogger. Okay. And the blogger was speaking about how once you reach a certain plateau of financial status, you have to do something strange for the change. You cannot get over that hurdle until you do something straight for the change, because they do have to have something over top of you. If you get out of line,
It's crazy, man. That's crazy.
African American blood, you were forced to identify as African American.
They want you to identify with two fake identities.
Clearly, we know our Native American ancestry categorized as
Wow. They wouldn't be doing what you're doing if it wasn't for these individuals. I can pull up right now. I can pull up YouTube, right? And I can go down a list of 30 melanated people. I'm not gonna say saying they're agents. I'm not gonna say this, that, and other. But one thing is easy to find: that what fraternity they belong to, relationships they've had, and they pushing black. And you've got people in the comment sections with the power fair stuff, all dark, this, that, and the other, going, yeah, black power, and this, that, and the other. Who's misleading and misrepresenting who? That's all I'm going to put out there. Two fake identities. Tiameri and Amaru are Atriel, but I use the term Atriel. But a handful of individuals, such as myself. Atriel is going so far back, before Egypt, before anyway, and that I will never call it nothing else. But that is not to identify the individual. For the individual does not require identification, but by foreign narrative. But to call yourself an AA or an FBA, Foundation of Black, but everyone has a choice. Everyone has a choice. Not knocking. Be at your own odds, to your own wits, and your own means. Whatever purpose is serving, a purpose already been served. I mean, look at TikTok. The whole dichotomy of it now is very under the guise of racism to keep you stuck there. And a lot of y'all know they're taking your post down, they're saying this, that, and whether it's wrong or right. It doesn't even matter, because just like you saw them killing and murdering babies, burning them, and all that stuff, it's the same individual. And though I like Trump, I didn't vote this time because I know something. I like him. I knew what he was really about, and I knew the corner they put him in to create. I'm not here to talk politics. It's for you to know better and do better. That's all I got to say. We're gonna read though. I'm not politicking. I'm not into that. Okay? I like real history. I like the things that can amount to something. You gotta find out for yourself.
The American Indian is the indigenous aboriginal of the Americas.
Bada boom, bada bing. Listen to the 9mm go clang, 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 clang. What would y'all say? You say plank, that means you're training.
And a lot of this music,
Don't say nothing.
We're talking about the suppressed rising, the oppressed rising up against the oppressor. That's all. That's what my music's about. The oppressed rising up against the oppressor.
You're only oppressed if you
only
believe
people
you
that
are.
Scared are the oppressed.
Lack of knowledge and knowing. But by the narrative painted, the portrait painted, the narrative painted,
Simple as that.
it's real. And you can get rewarded, I think, the way things sound, if you accept the portrait or the painting they paint. But then you're still under subjugation. Yeah. Boy, that stuff is strong, man. You hear me? That stuff is strong, man. That chlorophyll and that mullet, that's strong. Green tea. A tablespoon of honey and a dash of lemon.
I'm just ventilating of the actions of the protective service. Quick to pull the Glock blast and kill this. Don't take any type of skill. I'm ill of all citizens who haven't took a stand. Or kneels too late when the caps get filled. Don't believe the TC type. Going hits close to home. You gotta act the bone, but it got the dome. I gotta
go around the shed, man, and find the other B vitamins.
It's gonna be killed whenever I bite from above. I'll be giving the
don't feel like moving no toes.
On the way to the dawn daylight, we gon' rid him off, so gon' pass the kite. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. You want to be successful? You want to be like Trump? Gimme. Push. Step. Crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped.
I should go hyper. Hyperbolic on them. Hold on. Let me go hyperbolic on y'all. Look, I don't have my full beard in. How's it going, guys? How are you doing today? Hey, how's it going, everybody? Let me take these glasses off. I don't really need them. Well, you know. So, I guess yesterday was pretty interesting, right? But regardless of what happened or took place yesterday, I come today, again, with the best intentions, all right? So, I shared a little video there. It's quite a bit more. I just wasn't going to put it together and give you all, like, have you bored out your mind. And 3 young gentlemen in wild Indians were walking around measuring, cutting, hammering, and, you know, but there's plenty of it so I could stretch it out, okay? But what today I want to get into is I want to go ahead and I might be out of order a little bit. I want to read. First, I want to read Psychic Self-Defense, okay? Hey, Alicia, what's happening? How you doing? What's going on, beloved? King Johnson, I got you, right? Benji, I got you guys, okay. Anybody else come in here? And I hope you guys stick around. I hope you're not too busy. I know some of you might be working and stuff. But I want to go into the Psychic Self-Defense, okay? All right, Dion Fortune, okay? Chapter 6, Hauntings. And this is going to be pretty interesting. Interference by earthbound souls. I guess you can see now where I went a couple of days ago when I was talking about the gentleman. If you look on YouTube, you can see there was an individual, and then I guess it was on Instagram, maybe TikTok, where the gentleman was in his vehicle, and it was a Tesla, I assume, where he was facing a grave, buried, deceased loved ones, I guess, and a truck was right next to him, and he was seeing these things standing over the graves. One kind of flickering in and out, and somebody was talking about a grave marker. I was like, I dug graves, so I don't even know we got that from the grave marker thing. Like Tesla, it's not how it's grave marker gives all the signals so you know where you can find, you know what I'm saying, if you don't have a headstone or something like that. That's not what it was, because There is nothing that shoots up like a laser out the ground that gives this ambience of a sentient living life form. So people are always going to explain away things because they're very fearful. But I'm gonna read this, and maybe you can get something from it. Okay. Case of dead drunkard who overshadowed. Well, anyway, interference by earthbound souls, and these are the things in here. Case of dead drunkard who overshadowed his wife. Case of dead lover who caused astral projection in his fiancée. Throughout atmospheres, examples of strange stage fright. Case of haunting by the atmosphere. This is the bullet points. Left behind by a living drunkard. How to distinguish between atmospheres and entities. Haunting by a suicidal lunatic. Phenomena connected with case of haunting by a black occultist. Vampirism, poltergeist phenomena. Outbreaks of fire. Method of handling. Subsequent, which would be like controlling that which you cannot see. All right. Subsequent elucidation, forces evoked by ritual magic and their effects on casual visitors, forces evoked by Christian rituals, hauntings of viscerages, objects magnetized by ceremonial, incident of the consecrated crosses, spurious curious, incident of the altar in the cast room at the British Museum, types of atmosphere in the different rooms at the British Museum. Like you walk in and all of a sudden you have condensation, you know what I'm saying? The mist that comes off your breath, like as if it's 10 below zero. Original Lone Wolf. The Mummy's Curse, where, you know, the people that dig it up, they all pass away, right? Reverence for the sacred objects of another faith. Dogpa Buddha, incident in connection with a statue of the Buddha. Evil thoughts, forms returning to the sender, and hallucinations of the insane or projected thought forms. Okay? You can see these as theories or anything based on your studies and what you affirm to be as far as the painting, what's been painting, and maybe what some of you may have seen. Now, when I read this, some of you are going to go, oh, and then it may be all inclusive. And then for those of us who have a little more melon, it may be intrinsic. So let's go ahead. There are two forms of haunting which have to be considered. The one which is due to a discarnate soul who interferes with a particular person, and the one which is due to the conditions prevailing in a particular space, and which affects any person sufficiently sensitive who happens to go there, except in cases where the influence, pay attention, is exceptionally strong. Listen to this, the insensitive person is immune. Let me read that again. And which affects any person sufficiently sensitive who happens to go there, except in cases where the influence is exceptionally strong. The insensitive person is immune. The insensitive, you know what that means? They're not sensitive to it. Why is that? Could there be a factor or void or emptiness? Well, let's see. Now, to perceive a haunting, one needs, as a general rule, to be slightly or highly psychic. It is for this reason that children, Celts, DJ, and the colored races suffer severely from such interferences. Beyonce couldn't have mirrors in her home, but she messed with things she wasn't supposed to. All right? Suffer severely from such interferences. They mean they're more receptive. And the stolid Nordic type is comparatively immune. And to a lesser extent, the lively materialistic and skeptical Latin. if you're a lighter shade of wheat and you refuse to know your genealogy, I can guarantee you in that long list of line, if you have this fruition to speak on the notion that you've seen things, I have no issue with saying you have Negroidal blood in your line. As I stated, when you deal with Tartary and before that, but you deal with around the 1800s, more or less, that are the wet nurses and those who dealt with all these new babies with colic and everything else were our mammies who can breastfeed nations. And this is a known fact. And the marrying before the segregation took place, it was elusive. It was everywhere. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the Lena Horns and so on. And there's a ton of names that we can go through. We're not here to do that. We're here to read. But it's for you to research that, okay? Yes, and even the skeptical Latin, because you got to remember, there's a lot of New Age Chinese brothers and sisters who are called Chinos, this, that, and other in Mexico, who took on Latin names, as they did, as they went to conquer the Philippines and many other islands and were defeated and stayed, propagated by, you know, an emissary, by the new definition of the term of Masonic or whatever Illuminati orders, to establish further grounds and holds of those lands to whether it be Portuguese, by Spain, Cordova, or whatever. And the reality of it is, the people that are in charge, when you look at inauguration, all those little pale skin heads, can only go back to around the 1940s. Because they have to lie about history. Okay? And they shouldn't be in the position they're in. That's all I'm gonna point out there. Yet, our melanated people are possessed and troubled by their own antics and actions. Because you cast spells on yourselves. In subtle ignorance, yet ignorance you do. Let us consider first of all the question of interference by a discarnate soul. And you can look up the word discarnate. It will be noted that I use the term, excuse me, interference and not attack. Now, I'm going to relinquish something else. And this might be like a little T. There's a lot of light skin. I look at all my light skin brothers and sisters, and I look deep at them because phonetics, by design, you can see a lot of characteristics within your family. If you have a large family, you can see it throughout the lineage. And that's why I am so dismissive of the terms black and white. To avail, because they are meaningless. There are so many people running around and they do not, some don't want to know the truth, and yet there are many who do not know their truth of existence. I'm not here to implore and state whose existence is what. I am only pointing out something that is very elusive, because a lot of people have a hard time, and then they wonder why they feel a certain way. Okay? So anyway, let's carry on. And not attack. Now anyway, the disturbance need not necessarily be an attack, any more than the drowning man who clings to his rescuer and drags him under is motivated by malice. It's not malice, it's fear and wanting to survive. And in doing so, in the panic and the throes can drown the subordinates who come to assist. Now, the entity that is causing the trouble may be a soul that is itself in distress on the inner planes and is too ignorant of post-mortem conditions to know the harm it is doing by clinging so desperately to the living. It is for this reason that the wide dissemination of spiritualistic teaching is of value, for it helps to relieve the tension between this world and the next, or afar. Now, as far as my experience goes, I am inclined to think that deliberate malevolence is rare, but this panic-stricken clinging is not uncommon, and explains why the survivor of a pair sometimes goes through very unpleasant experiences after the death of the partner, or that is. And there are also cases, though rarer, wherein a soul who has some occult knowledge but is bound strongly to earth by sensual desires uses a curious form of report in order to gratify those desires through the physical body of another. What was that movie with Denzel? When he was chasing this thing and it kept jumping bodies. I can't remember the name of the movie. But he was walking and he was hunting something, and this individual was able to jump through bodies, per se. I hope none of you ever went and sat in front of a so-called a gypsy or whatever, fortune teller or spirit incarnate. You know, people are going to sit there at a round table and, you know, drag a soul. And a lot of time it was fictional, but there have been reports. And I told you a story about me and my boy Popcorn, another brother, messing with the Ouija board. And what happened and how we ran up our boy's house, and he didn't even want to go back there because Popcorn was a giant. So he was the most wonderful, sweetest brother, light skinned, big as a giant. My boy Spencer Hobson, a giant of a man. And I mean literally, like when you say giant, like literally, like two of me make one of him. And Spence was one of the a terror at the same time, the most, like I said, like an elephant, not on a rampage. And our other homie was a little brolic brother. And we had the wine glass, we had the Ouija board out, we had the words and everything. And when I tell you, I don't play with that stuff, especially back then, because of what my ancestors were saying and what I saw as a youngin' through the window with those, I guess you could use the term Knights of Light. It's not what it was, but I got to see things. Anyway, and I was the one stoic enough to put the wine glass over the candle and make it the last out the door. Because when we got down to one finger and our fingers were barely touching the glass and it was moving and it started going to no, 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 a certain question, yes. And we all felt like we were nudged. Look, bro. If Spence, you watch, you know what I'm talking about. Not to drag up anything, we felt like we were nudged. My boy moved like in a weird way, and then I moved, and then he was like, and boom, and I was like, oh, boom, smoldering. And when we went back in there, the smoke was still spiraling in the wine glass. Anyway, let's go on. Anyway, there are innumerable instances of both these types of astral interference in occult and spiritualistic literature. But as I am confining myself to cases within my own experience, it was meant for me to do that, just to let y'all know. I will not cite them, but limit myself to listing the literature of the subject in the bibliography. Now, someone of my acquaintance lost, after a long illness, her husband, to whom she was much attached, but whom most people would have thought she was well rid of, as for many years he had been addicted to drink. Okay? As many of you still are, sadly, and died finally after a long illness during which he was kept under morphine for prolonged periods. Now, taking enormous quantities, that is, he was a man of intensely malignant and selfish disposition, and died unrepentant. He never forgave himself nor those around him. She, however, during the course of his last illness, when being bedridden, he could do no more harm, elected to idolize him, and as soon as he was safely dead, canonize him into the family saint. She was interested in occultism and in the habit of practicing meditation and invoking the masters. Now, in spite of all counsel to the contrary, she began to try and get into psychic touch with her husband. You know what I mean? Invoking him as her guide, like many other men of a sensual disposition, she had clung desperately to life, remaining in articulo mortis for days. Fortunately for all concerned, it had been possible to persuade her to have his remains cremated. But despite all persuasion, she brought all his belongings from the nursing home where he had died and kept them in her bedroom, and made a little altar around his photograph and used it as the focus of her meditation. She called upon him. Never do that. There's a reason why my ancestors, the ones I knew, when somebody passed away, they would get rid of the bed. They would take the pictures and lay them down and stow them. For safekeeping, for family records, not a deviation from life itself to cant or chant and bring something back. And they would dispose or usually bury the clothes with them. Yes, in the hole, in bags, or at that time they would lay the clothes out in the coffin or on it. Everything, or burn it. Okay? The old vinegar thing, the dirt to seal it. You know these things, right? Okay. Excuse me. So anyway, let's get this last paragraph, then we'll go to something else. The last illness had been a long and trying one, and she had been living at the end of a telephone wire in a state of constant anxiety for weeks, but had no physical strain. So there was nothing physical to account for the serious illness, which ensued after the strain was over. It soon became noticeable that she, who had previously had a very lovable and gentle disposition, was gradually changing, so that not only in temperament, but in facial expressions, she was growing like her late husband. Next, a curious thing ensued. Her husband had died of an inflammatory spinal lesion, which caused no pain at the site of the trouble, but intense pain in the nerves that issued from the spine at that point, so that the pain was referred to as a particular distribution in the hands and arms, more upon one side than the other. The lady developed a severe neuritis that exactly corresponded in its distribution to her late husband's symptoms. Now, another illustrative case is that of Miss E, whose fiancé was killed during the war. She says in a letter written to the person whom she consulted with regard to her problem, "I was able to rise above the loss and separation at the time, but 6 months later, I suffered nervous breakdown. From this time, I have been troubled with weak nerves, and for the last 2 months, I have been having very extraordinary experiences which are causing me much perplexity and rendering me unfit to work. It is a night experience," meaning, I guess, a staple of continual nightly experiences, as we may find out, "and has not once occurred during the day." So it's a usual phenomenon. "After I have composed myself for sleep, I find that gradually my body is losing all sensation. It feels as if I was being slowly frozen stiff." How many of y'all been through that? How about the running and not getting nowhere? Or the falling and hitting the ground? Anyway, I don't know how else to describe it. At this stage, I can sometimes rouse myself and overcome it. How many of you said, wake up, and you woke up and you were like, and if you bumped your knee, your shin, or your fingers would hurt, your arm was numb? Okay. But I cannot always do this. My efforts to rouse myself are in vain, and although fully conscious, I feel unable to move or call. Usually after this, I sink into some kind of sleep. I have all kinds of experiences. Sometimes I visit strange places and talk with people I don't know. Sometimes my experiences are beautiful beyond description. Sometimes I am threatened with danger of drowning or falling. But in these cases, I always rise in the air and travel for miles. It seems to me, sometimes I feel that I am just floating in the air. How long the dream lasts, I cannot tell. When I wake up, however, I have great difficulty in moving for some time. But gradually, I retain the power to move about. And after a lot of stinging sensation in the limbs, I get up, usually feeling very tired and unrefreshed. But sometimes I feel none the worse for the strange experience. But it is undermining my health and happiness, and it cannot be good. We're going to read more of this. Yet I just want you to, some of you to think about, especially but you dark melanin people, if you are missing this, then you are truly not connected to your inner self. And if you have loved ones, maybe they weren't as loved ones as you have conceptualized in your theory of life. Where did my pen go? You got a pen over there, bro? I don't have one in my neck, so I just want to put a bullet point on this. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's perfect. Yeah. Appreciate it. Okay. Now, I'm going to read this from The Power of Now because I find a guide to spiritual enlightenment. I find that with that, there are different consortiums of things that may be practical for most. And it's important for my light-skinned brothers and sisters to know that it's important for them to, because it affects you as well. But it's always been whitewashed in Hollywood to paint another narrative, and then the melanated people demonized in one way or another, sunk in place, controlled for whatever pleasures and all the other morbid things of a false reality. That is tantamount to something that's possible when you look at Louisiana and everything else. And then the fact that we have, what's the name? Well, in Harder They Fall, the one that was chased by his little light-skinned girlfriend and claimed that this, that, and another, who was removed from playing a certain role, right? Where he was one of those gods or whatever, and his uncle was gay and the woman, and they were gods and they didn't even know it, and they were coming into their truth, and it was downplayed with a lot of homosexuality, and I'm utilizing it to further I forget the name of the movie, The Gods. I forget the name of the movie. Anyway, it's been a long time since I saw it, but I feel that giving you this little bit of information here, everybody, might be beneficial and giving you a trajectory or a way to approach something. But let's see what it does, okay? So anyway, this is Power of Now, The Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle, okay? And this is strengthening the immune system. And someone say, what is the strengthening the immune system? What role can it play? With your immune system being weak or compromised, well, spike proteins and everything else can affect you, right? And how about the fact that you really don't know how strong or powerful the narrative of what considered an immune system to be, quote unquote. You don't know what really is the immune system. Isn't the immune system a staple of your physiology? And the fact that in order for everything to be working in harmony and sequence is upon the structure and the soundness of your so-called immune system? Otherwise, you wouldn't have the fluoridation and all the silver and nitrates and oxides and aluminium and all the other things that Teflon, the things that weaken you, and all that, which is all nonsense, that further degrades so that way you age faster and your immune system compromised. Hypothetically, I'm not speaking in the form of a doctor and all that other nonsense. What I'm going to do is help you learn a little more. It's a dude, and it's Tuesday. Anyway, let's get into it. Hey, baby girl Slaughter, what's up? What's up, mama? What was that? Which one is that? Yeah, falling. Yes, falling. Yes. I had to stop. My apologies. It's good to see you, mama. Oh, Mac, what's happening, bro? What's going on, fam? T Hines, I got you. I'll see you. Hey, T, you know, Sharon. So anyway, let's carry on with the read, okay? What's going on, mama? And I didn't check to see if anybody donated. Appreciate everybody's donations yesterday. I think I shouted everybody out. But yeah, keep it coming, y'all. We can use it. Like, we're going to be running around. A lot of stuff's going to be going on. But strengthening the immune system. All right, let's get into it. Here we go with that. Okay, hopefully I'm loud enough. Another benefit of this practice in the physical realm is a great strengthening of the immune system, which occurs when you inhabit the body. Is it plausible that all the energy y'all been giving, and ignorance is not a bad word, y'all know that, right? It's like not having the knowledge. And ignorance, under a spell per se, that you could be giving life to something that was never meant to be again, that maybe your forefathers and ancestors were able to get rid of. Reason why there are certain people acting in certain ways they are now. I am just juxtaposing something upon you. I am not saying you need to see it that way. I am only putting you in a direction of focus, and you could split off in many different routes or roads, but I want you to look at these things. Okay? And I want you to finesse them, okay? Inhabit the body. What were we just discussing? 2 different forms. 2 lady stories. The more consciousness you bring into the body, the stronger the immune system becomes. Isn't that taxation by representation? That means your own taxing, but not taxing as in removing, but giving oneself. Speaking, as we were talking yesterday, talking into a mirror, saying not today. The flight and fight, you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, carry on. The stronger the immune system becomes. It is as if every cell awakens and rejoices. The body loves your attention. It is also a potent form of self-healing, yet you give your attention to everywhere else. You know what's troubling? People think I'm not braggadocious or egotistical maniac. Like, when I say I cast spells, I'm not talking some little grain of rice type thing. It's not how it works. And I don't mess with things I don't have knowledge of. I don't do that. But I said to myself, this might be able to acquaint you a little more with respect of self. So, now, most illnesses creep in when you are not present in the body. Now, if the master is not present in the house, all kinds of shady characters will take up residence, squatters, right? There. When you inhabit your body, it will be hard for unwanted guests to enter. So you must not be the empty void that they require you to be. It is not only your physical immune system that becomes strengthened, your psychic immune system, yes, is greatly enhanced as well. And the latter protects you from the negative mental, emotional force fields of others. Remember we were discussing the other day about the acquaintances, the circle you keep? Knowing that sometimes you must disembark because you're too weak, or you'll be just as sick as them. Anyway, the latter protects you from the negative mental, emotional force fields of others, which are highly contagious. And there's a statement about contagion, right? She has a very contagious personality. Oh, he does too. You know what I mean? Inhabiting the body protects you not by putting up a shield. So all that, I got a brick wall, blah, blah, blah. All right? But by raising the frequency and vibration of your total energy field, So that anything that vibrates at a lower frequency, such as fear, anger, depression, and so on, now exists in what is virtually a different order of reality. It doesn't enter your field of consciousness anymore. Or if it does, you don't need to offer any resistance to it because it passes right through you. It's like, there we go. Very dismissive you can be. In a way that negates responsibility to the personal perception of not being deviant and devoid of self, but not void of self, but devoid of all those things. So you allow yourself to breathe. Remember I say, breathe. Anyway, please don't just accept or reject what I'm saying. Put it to the test. Now, there is a simple but powerful self-healing meditation that you can do whenever you feel the need to boost your immune system. It is particularly effective if used when you feel the first symptoms of an illness. But it also works with illnesses that are already entrenched if you use it at frequent intervals and with an intense focus. That means if your loved one, cascading effect, anyway, or your children or somebody or someone is feeling some kind of way and you are the disturbance, the rot that makes it worse, be indicative to remove yourself. To clarify, that means to clear your mind. You know, when you clarify butter, what do? You take off the what? Someone say the fat. No, butter is nothing but fat. To clarify it is to pull the what? The bad stuff from it, so therefore you have ghee. Like chi. Anyway, let's go on. But it also works with illnesses that are already entrenched you if you use it at frequent intervals and with an intense focus. So you must make it personal. It will also counteract any disruption of your energy field by some form of negativity. However, it is not a substitute for the moment-to-moment practice of being in the body. Otherwise, its effects will only be temporary, and here it is. When you are unoccupied for a few minutes, write it down if you must, or hit screen record. When you are unoccupied for a few minutes, and especially last thing at night before falling asleep, let me read it again because I know some of you got to do this and record it, okay? 3, 2, 1, remove the count. When you're unoccupied for a few minutes, and especially last thing at night before falling asleep, this is only a suggestion, and first thing in the AM or morning before getting up, flood your body with consciousness. Close your eyes, lie flat on your back, choose different parts of your body to focus your attention on briefly. At first, hands, feet, arms. I run a diatribe. I run this marathon around my body when I meditate. Anyway, when I'm laying, slumbering. Feet, arms, legs, abdomen, chest, head, and so on. Stay with each part for 15 seconds or so, then let your attention run through the body like a wave a few times. From feet to head and back again. This need only take a minute or so. After that, feel the inner body in its totality. It feels warm too, for those who don't know. As a single field of energy. Hold that feeling for a few minutes. Lavish and rally in it. Okay? Be intensely present during that time. That means acknowledge that you are allowing this because it is you who are the vector to control it. You are the on and off switch. All right? Don't be concerned if the mind occasionally succeeds in drawing your attention out of the body, because you've got to practice this. Okay? And you lose yourself in some thought. It's all right. As soon as you notice that this has happened, just return your attention to the inner body. Yes, you've seen the models. You know what your body's supposed to look like. If you need to be that enamored, to be that grotesque or gross, then so be it. If you need to look at your organs as they are, then so do it on that plane of thought. Occupy yourself. Okay, next read. Chapter 6, the theory that the earth spins around the sun and not the earth as the center of the universe. So there's a video I'm gonna share. This individual runs around believing that he's debunking the flat earthers, the flurfers. These individuals are so crazy. This is nothing but another agent foreign, indicative to probably running around at Christmas wearing horns and everything else. Yet he has this thing where he talks about Antarctica. For those of you, have y'all seen that they've increased the size of Antarctica? And at a certain point where he's at, it's a 24-hour cycle of where you can see the sun rotate. So if you're looking at the Earth, per se, and this is the North Pole, and this is the South Pole, that if 24 hours the sun is here at 91.3 or 93.6 million miles away, that you're, and the Earth being hundreds of millions of times smaller than the sun at 90, you got to learn how to do math, first of all. This is where this individual screws up. That the sun in its, or the moon in its orbit, going around the sun, there's a focal point where it's supposed to be the gravitational pull and this swirling orgasm of planetaries zooming through space, that you see it for 24 hours in the prism of this certain mileage. And they need you to dumb down to accept this. But you know that your eye sees in color prisms, right? We have those three, and then you have the rainbow. But in the spectrum of how far? 3 miles, but supposed to be infinite. 3 miles. So if you only see in a prism, in color spectrum of 3 miles of prism, if they are looting 93 or 91.6 or 93.6 million miles away, and you're not even that of a, I guess you could say, an atom, you're supposed to accept the sun in its dynamic spinning in the crystal blue of the sky with all the white around you for 24 hours, instead of the notion that Antarctica, if the sun was to go around it, but in an elliptical, based on height, depth perception, right? That wouldn't it look as if it was going around a certain place for a period of time? And the fact that even in ancient books, there is more than one so-called sun and moon. So this is where they repudiate and dispel anything that is may be plausible from before. So that way they can lean on what has been given. So the only dynamic illusion you have, rather than theory, is to accept what is being given based on the disposition of what they believe in. There is so much more, and I don't want to get into that flurfer, rounder, whatever the nonsense is. For them to dismiss creation, your origin, when they don't have an origin story themselves. Okay, let's get into it. The dome and outer space projection. Project Bloombeam, paperclip. Do I need to go and say any more? This theory was determined in the development of modern astronomy. But if we consider that the new humanity, or this new cycle, began in 1728, and you have over 1,000 light-skinned folks that let y'all know that y'all really weren't even here in the 7th century. Not by definition. When I told y'all the Revolutionary Fiction War or the Civil War, we fought people that look like us. Then all of a sudden y'all come in and y'all start taking over space when all the grandest of great warriors are dead. And if you were rounded up and starved and not given natural herbs, and the bells are destroyed and everything is occupied, and then all of a sudden they're bringing in these new seeds we call, what is that movie I was telling y'all about? Where you put a pod beside your bed? They're doing cloning. Look, doesn't mean that you're willing or that was what you wanted, my light-skinned brothers and sisters, or even some of you melanated, because some of your relatives came out of those cabbage patches too. Let's further embark on this read. 1728. Post-reset, we can raise significant questions about the authenticity and sources of our scientific knowledge, especially in relation to the great scientists who were shaping this theory before that year. Scientists like Copernicus, Galileo, and Kepler had already established before the 1728 reset the basis of this theory. However, it is highly probable that it was another manipulation imposed by the same colonizers, since the new humanity. And those individuals were Negroid. I don't care how you feel. Condition under, anyway, the humanity's born condition under the new IDP from the beginning was going to have great difficulties to reach the truth about its own environment. These theories and reinterpretations by the custodians could be adapted to the new narrative of the imposed universe. After the last reset, the process of human re-education may have included a selective reintroduction of scientific theories that supported the colonizers' imposed worldview by including this way of looking at the universe and reinforcing the notion of a vast and personal universe. Scientists' texts and publications could also be altered or even eliminated if they did not match the impact they sought. Curriculum. The existence and contributions of figures such as Newton, who had published most of his influential works before 1728, may need to be critically reevaluated. Were their legacies really co-opted or reconstructed to serve this new configuration of the post-recessionary custodial system? Did they really exist? Question. Well, the idea of fostering human insignificance in this last cycle was far more important than any other dogma. Now, we're just reading this. This is not based upon fact or fiction. This is just something for you to add another antiquation, because there's so many theories that individuals are attempting to make relative in their design of an understanding, standing under something and accepting it, not a deep understanding or appreciation because truth pleased them. Anyway, the idea of fostering human insignificance in this cycle was far more important than any other dogma and was carried forward relentlessly from 1728 to the present date, creating and reinforcing the systems that are carried forward to today as well. Now, critically considering history also puts under the magnifying glass the great scientific minds that shaped our minds. A closer examination of their lives and writings may reveal connections to alchemy, magic, hermeticism that are worth mentioning. Now, Newton, despite his fame as the father of modern physics, devoted much of his life to the study of alchemy. It is estimated that he wrote over 1 million words on this subject. A little known facet of his life that was meticulously hidden or minimized until the supposed 20th century. His interest in and obsession with the transformation of metals can be seen as a metaphorical parallel to the transformation of the worldview through his well-known theories. Now, it is also known that he studied biblical chronology and prophecies, probably Enoch, showing a fusion of his religious and scientific beliefs that could be interpreted as a research for divine order in the cosmos, influenced by Hermetic ideals. I don't think Christianity was a staple or established then. No. Now, I told you what I told you about the brother, King James, and how he was murdered and what happened, and then Algonquin so-called Bible showing up out of nowhere, and then after that it became by this Germanic language because it was more fitting to this way, because everybody else spoke languages on all the other lands once they conquered it was not this language. Okay, we're gonna let that roll. We're gonna let that roll. That's up for subjugation, and you can persecute that if you choose. It is also known that he studied biblical chronology. Think about it. Anyway, Kepler also known for his contributions to science, the laws of planetary motion. But he was also an avid astrologer and advocate of mystical cosmic harmonies that he related directly to his astronomical work. His famous phrase, geometry is one and eternal study and the mind of God. And we all know who created geometry and who taught it to who. I guess we could supplement ourselves by saying the great seafarers who moored at certain islands and places where I asked y'all to look for the Hatat people. But I know that's complicated because they've well hidden them now. See how they whitewash something? Anyway, that's why it's good to know many different things. Anyway, the mind of God reflects his belief in an ordered and mathematically predestined cosmos. Ideas that resonated with the Hermetic philosophy of as above, so below. And as I stated, as above, as below. His work, Harmonics Mundi, is a treatise linking music, mathematics, physics, astrology, and astronomy. Doesn't the water and sand and snowflakes, but doesn't it all look like the window panes of ancient, what they call churches? The Goth period they made up. Harmony, when played, they give these altruistic diagrams. Anyway, you know what to do from there. That can be alluded to in a false narrative called astronomy. To have you looking outside instead of inside. A vision that is essentially magical and hermetic. Now, Galileo Galilei, although a great proponent of theory, his relationship with the Catholic Church and his esoteric studies are often overlooked, and his confrontation with the church could be reinterpreted not only as a struggle between science and religion, but also as a conflict between different esoteric interpretations of the universe. There is evidence that Galileo was deeply interested in other mystical texts, which may have influenced his interpretation and presentation of the solar system. Excellent painting. The all-seeing eye. Appreciate it. All right, okay. Nice word. What's going on, beloved? I just wanted to see what's all up here. A lot of people come in. Marcus, a lot of people come in and they don't say nothing, but appreciate you guys. I got Joe. Just wanted to see if anybody else came in. I wanted to greet everybody, you know. Let's look at Terra Infinita Map, The Dome Worlds. This is by Claudio Nocelli. My apologies. These two books that I'm reading are Claudio Nocelli, Nos Confundam, No Confusion. All right? Where did the information about the other worlds come from? Now, you may have read this by now, Baby Go Slaughter and T, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. Helen contacted me a few years ago. You know, she is the son of Mr. Win Morrison, okay? Helen contacted me a few years ago when I was investigating the possibility of lands existing beyond Antarctica. The topic of Antarctica and the many restrictions had always caught my attention, especially when one starts to notice that there are no commercial flights there, and the establishment of numerous bases following. Coincidentally, various military expeditions by many countries between 1900 and 1960 have taken place. The official and most important reasons for the lack of commercial flights, such as extreme conditions, the harsh climate, in parentheses, and limited infrastructure, always left me with serious doubts. Well, Helen's story about her father William, the stories that would follow about journeys to lands beyond the first dome, the Terra Infinita map, and everything else about the other worlds around would be a cold splash of reality on our world, our past, and everything that happened in our surroundings. The following ancient map, which shows lands surrounding the known continents, has always represented a challenge to the explanation of the current model. For this reason, the story that the custodians, those colonizers who had penetrated the known continents a long time ago and carried out various manipulations experiments, such as the climate in these already existing lands, takes on new meaning now. You watched in California. You saw over there in the Black Mountain, which called North Carolina, Orange County years ago, Hawaii, Dubai. We can go on and on. The Philippines, Japan, over and over. Anyway, that the custodians, the colonizers who had penetrated the known continents a long time ago and carried out various manipulations, such as the climate in these already existing lands, takes on a new meaning now. The version of the map of our known continents prior to past resets would also come into our hands, and its representation is detailed in the following images. Remember I was talking about the period maps? The reality that when you look at the UN, that fictional existence, and why they hide so much, and when this was removed, remember I told y'all in that one book that I have that has all the other books, it's down there. All right, that I'm going to read in one sitting. It's going to be a lot of information where ships and many things have been lost because of the gravitational pull, and the giants and the pygmies there will never, you know what I'm saying, save or rescue. The fact that there's another body of water under the ocean, and there are bodies of water even within the ocean that flow all the time with and against. The fact that there are blue crystals that fall in certain places all the time that have to now be gathered up. It goes on, but I just wanted to stop there, okay? I think that's enough reading for today. And what say you all? Okay? And a very, let's just give you a little tacky. I've been to Antarctica. I've been around the Horn. I've been in the deep oceans. I've been shown how we would float in circles and being expressed that we're going here and there, and all of a sudden pop up in this place in a matter of a few days that should have took us, 2 weeks. I learned to fly a Cessna in the 80s. And I remember what all the pilots stated. So know that when you see individuals pressing hard and they call themselves doctors and everything else, have doctors cured or healed anybody? Okay. Appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to an old fogey. My beloved sisters and my wonderful brothers, I hope y'all like this way. And we'll be going out tomorrow and working up there. It's going to be a pretty cool day. We're going to probably eat and fill ourselves. If you want to donate, I think it's in the description, the Cashapp. We've got to pick up quite a few more things. We still got to get a grinder. I got to go down here now and check the mail. I appreciate you guys. Question: how is it that CMT oil is supposed to be used? CMT oil is for energy. It's good to take when you wake up if you're a little sluggish. Just make sure you're using the right one. You can have CMT oil from a form of, when a coconut starts to sprout, usually what's in there is called a sweet heart. And it's very fleshy and meaty, and it's very good for you. You can press that and have a form of coconut CMT oil, which is like pure sugar. But CMT oil is not pure sugar. It is something that gives you a little energy. That's all it is. So how's it to be utilized? A lot of bodybuilders, when they go to work out, will take their CMT oil and add it to their, their protein drink and stuff like that. But you can look into it and read it. You know what I mean? I would advise you to research what's benefiting those in the vegan world, more so than the people in the bodybuilding, because they are using a lot of gear. All right, so research it. I look at a screenshot of the one you showed on your tablet. Yeah, okay. Want to see it again? Look. That's third-party tested, all natural, organic, whatever terms you want to use. And I'll see if I can pull it up right quickly. They're doing something, because you see with TikTok, Quickie Flocky, what's going on, right? So they have the same idiots who work the meta and everything else, the young minds who don't know nothing. There to be very disruptive, whether they melanated or not doesn't matter. Very racist, and they're allowing it. So, hold up wide loads, because it's just what they do. You know what I mean? Okay. I have the weather day up here like crazy. So, as far as metabolic, that's what it is, to boost. This is the one that I showed you. This is Forefront Health. Let me see if I can expand it. This one is worth about $30. And there's a few different ones. You can pull it up on your, what you call it, and that's it right there. So metabolic is what? The functionality of what your system to what? to metabolize, right? To like you eat proteins and all that kind of stuff. You get your minerals and all that, and it's supposed to help your process your bones, like using the magnesium, the proper kind, and the vitamin D, the sun, you know, body to make it, and vitamin C, and the right amounts of cadmium, lithium, gold, iron. Don't stop taking iron, people, and all those things. For your body to metabolize, to metastasize, to make the things work in your body, to make your bones stronger, to make your eyes better, selenium, all those kind of, you know what I'm saying, that you get from herbs and stuff. So that way, because meat, if you're really going to get something from meat, you can't cook it all the way dead as I used to, because that's very, very toxic, carcinogenic. You want to have it medium rare, dead serious. And if you eat fish, only reason why it's a problem with lobsters right now and stuff like that, because of the levels of mercury and all that stuff, purposely, besides the PFASs. Mostly everything that you eat flesh-wise is not really meant to be consumed. You got to know these things, and getting the right amounts of fat too. But without the proper amounts of fat or cholesterol, then your body doesn't process, you don't metabolize, and your metabolize, they're off. So there's a lot. So just getting an MCT oil is not the only answer, but it's better to study. That's the only reason why I share things with you, for you to research and study these things. Okay? I'm not here to give answers or solidify and say this is what it is. Now, if I say fact about something, then I'm getting back into the politics of it. I'm only bringing an illusion in another direction. Okay? It's up to you. You have a choice to determine if the illusion is conducive to you, if you've done enough research, or it's not, because you've done enough research and you don't find favor because maybe you're a little further beyond, or you're not there yet. Okay? Yeah. All the other things, all the videos, you can go back and watch all the crazy and all that. That was just fun for me. You know what I mean? But there was always tea. I'm not doing that tea bit no more. I expressed that the other day. Because y'all tire me sometimes. But then y'all turn around and somebody started doing that. I was like, okay, that's what we need. You know, because I'm here to help the brothers, and they're going to help me, and I'm here to help you, and you can help me. And that way we can aspire to something. You know what I mean? Original Sounds, we're going to build a studio, but he was talking about he might pack up and come out this way, and I'm like, come on. Like, I know some of you sitting there probably saying, I'll come out there in the spring. Come out here and test yourself. Come out here and endure the cold. Let's see how long you can go without pushing your body through all that heat and all the metals and the lime and the fluoride and everything else that you wash your behinds with, and you think that you're thinking clear? How many of you are grounding in that cold, putting your Barney Rubble and Flintstone feet on that cold and sucking it up for 5 and 10 minutes? Huh? How many of you are willing? We can go out there and work in the cold. It's not that bad. The sun's out. But then I make choices too. I make what they would call, what do you call, like a captain's, like, you know, I say, oh, you know, this is, hey, no, chill today. Because I have to do some other things. I have to go on the tablet. I have to read some things. I have to do some things. And otherwise, but we have to pick up some more wood. And we learn as we go, right? We realize that whenever we get something, we better measure it before we purchase it. Yeah, we had enough stuff to build a lot of walls now, though. But to get the platform up is very important. So that's where we're at. We got to dig another hole too, guys. And we may end up digging 2 more, or we may just get like those $13 concrete and build on top of those as far as the center with the joist supports. Because 18 by 16 is not small. It's not big. But the 18 by 18 we're going to build, that's going to be pretty big. And that's going to be, every joist is going to have to be roughly 8 to 20, 2 by 6. And most of the 2 by 6s we're getting, these people don't know how to do like we do. Process the wood. They're barely 6 inches. They're right about 2 and 5 and 2, 5.5. It's, you have to look at location. You have to pay attention. This is not bad mouthing anything. This is what you have to do. And you have to apply the very same things you expect the people to do. So we were kind of slothful in that, and that's the way you learn, you know. Measure 100 times and cut once. You dig what I'm saying? And it's a great thing, and I can guarantee you both T and Ganja, they appreciate it as much as I do. You know what I mean? I guess snow in South Carolina. What? Are you kidding me? Oh, Lance, yeah, appreciate you too, fam. You recommend C60? C60. Let me. You know what? Somebody else asked me about that. Let me pull that up right quick. Here I go. I'm hiding everything from myself. Where did I put the freaking thing, man? Oh, duh, right in front of me. Duh. I'm looking at like the books. Anyway, do I don't. I'm just pointing out. You have to research what works for you, like best for you. You know what I'm saying? But C60. As far as the purple power, are you talking about, hon? Are you talking about the purple power? You've been taking that for about 4 years? Because I mean, it's a form of MCT. Let me pull it up. Let me see. I think it's a, and there's other ones too. Let me. Yeah. Okay. Let me pull it up. Slow. Oh, here we go. Are you spending $200 and something on yours? Well, that's the purple power and the green power. They have there's different kinds. So no, you can get it. I mean, I think as low as like $50. I mean, this is another form of MCT. You get organic and all natural. Okay. But if I was going to utilize something that's based on carbon function, I would spend the $200-300 on it. Third-party testing. Label organic doesn't mean nothing to me. Al natural, family originated, cold press. What are they doing? Are they using any kind of radiation or heat treatment? You don't want that. And how long is the table life? You get what I'm saying? These are the things that most people won't look at. Just like I told y'all, going to a doctor and say, hey, look, what would be the best diet to help me instead of this medication? And they're supposed to prescribe a diet, and your insurance is supposed to pay for it. I purchased in bulk, a whole back. So yes, I purchased in bulk, a whole back. So yes and no, it's expensive. So which one are you using? Because C60s, there's many different types. Wow. Okay, I was my brain right now is a little. I gotta eat something. But which one are you utilizing, hon? Because a lot of people will sit there and say, oh, isn't extra virgin olive oil? If it ain't Moroccan, it ain't nowhere clear. It ain't nowhere near, because the goofy mafia in Italy and they messed up Bertolli and all that good olive oil by putting seed oils in it. There's a bunch of dumb bad. They're like all these little goofy things that arose. They just for the money. They are so stupid when having the real stuff is still beneficial and you can still make money. They not name calling, but the reality is the reality. It's just situational awareness. People become so perverted and they don't get what's going on, and they become a shell of themselves, and they're so empty. That's without me cursing them. Okay. All right. Anyway, which one? Oh, no, it's all right. Purple Power. Shop C60. Let me see what that is. Let me see what I can do. Well, you know what? I'm gonna pull images up because there's so many different kinds. Because they do come from, a lot of times they come from olives. It's a fat. See, people think that fat makes you fat. Good healthy fat helps you metabolize. You ever heard of that yellow, brown, and white fat? Which one is chemical, which one is natural, and which one is that stuff that you might have to get cut out, sucked out? You've been poisoned for so long. And the narrative painted by the enemy, you remember talking about compromised immune systems? They attack your upper thoracic, your mental aspirations because you don't know to speak power in yourself, to raise, to breathe. From the diaphragm, no shoulder puffing. or the hyperventilation, over oxygenating. Flailing your arms to get the blood circulation, getting lightheaded, and not knowing that it's actually beneficial for you because you're walking around in a dark place. So C60 is an olive oil enriched, blah, 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 like MCT oil that was utilized even back in the 80s and 90s when we were working out, pouring it in our Joe Weider shake proteins and stuff. Yet, you need this stuff. And avocados have it naturally as well. Just as a number of other things, certain nuts. Don't eat all nuts aren't the answer. And the ones you can eat raw are even better. Like people sit there and say, well, you eat pistachios. I like pistachios raw. Well, at least lightly roasted. Or almonds are very toxic. High in what? What are almonds high in? But a lot of y'all don't know about blanching your stuff in water. And I ain't talking about that fluoridated poison metal slag crap. I'm talking about in mineralized water. Now I'm gonna go getting PB-free mineral water and add more minerals. Don't go toxifying yourselves. It's good to research things and then to further gain knowledge to better. You know what I'm saying? I take that with nano silver. Yeah, be careful with the nano silver and the gold and all that stuff and the chelated coppers and all that. Don't overdo it because you're going to toxify yourself. Once or twice a month, as long as you're balancing your diet. Diet means dietary intake. Okay? Be mindful. Like yesterday we had mushroom, 4 cheese, ravioli, and what was the other one? Sausage, ravioli. And this is an excellent pasta. I don't know, they might change it soon. I don't know. And we use pine needles, pine nuts and stuff like that in a pesto sauce instead of the regular red. So we're gonna have that again today with some bison. It's got to be the bison come out, cuz it's got to thaw out.
Yeah.
Oh, bang, bang, bang it. Awesome. So that's what we're gonna eat today. 1 meal, guys. I mean, we have like this right here. I gotta finish this. Oh god. I'm starting to detest y'all because I wouldn't have thought about it. I might have been there and not had to drink it. With y'all, this all these beautiful, magnificent questions. I take the silver probably once a week. When the virus was bad, I used it every day. When the virus is bad, you don't need to use it every day. You need to meditate. You need to focus your thoughts. You need to not lean on the fact that you're sick. The virus, regardless of what it is, don't even give it a name. All right? Because you're not even your name. You dig what I'm saying? Be mindful of these things and conscious. Be more intuitive, indicative that you look inside yourself, regardless of what's going outside, because there are things attacking you all the time. But you can't wane on that. See, when I say that, it's an empty box. I'm just saying it because verbatim, it is based upon facts that they'll hide because that's what they do. And I don't have to say who they are. It doesn't matter. Hold on. Oh. Had me looking like a damn damn horse. Anyway. God dog. Let me pull up a picture of some of the ones that I've seen, okay? Whoo-wee. Did you ever look at Fullerene C70? Pull up. Let me see. Fullerene is Fullerene C70. Pull it up and tell me what you find right quick. Fullerene C70. Oh, you did? Pull it up? Well, explain it to the people, all right? For those who don't know. Because it probably made in China or Hong Kong, but a lot of the bodybuilders in them use it. So this is one that I would, if I was going to use that, I would probably use this one. And then you got cod liver oil. Come on. You know what I mean? So, which is a form of MCT oil. And this one right here is about anywhere between $100 to $200. So that is the Evo olive is what, because it is third party tested, blah blah blah. You know the whole spam. Excuse me. Then detoxification and cellular health, I would probably lean over to this, which is almost $200, and this is supercharged C60. Now, a lot of y'all people who know me, like back in the day powerlifting, I used to utilize some of this stuff as far as certain liquid things. You can go and research it, but supercharged C60 is about $200. Very potent. But I don't use a lot of these. I don't utilize a lot of these things today because I'm big on organic coconut oil and stuff like that, which is an MCT oil. For those who don't know, it's good for your skin and all that. And sublingual, you can take it internally. Okay. For those who didn't know, the difference is the diameter of the structure between the two molecules. Yeah, that's all. And that's why one is the C70 for those who could afford that, because it's cheaper. Actually, it's depending. It's kind of like almost it's like processing something synthetic. I just wanted to mention it so that way I wouldn't buy it. But you know what I'm saying? Because they're always going to go the cheap road instead of actually expelling or cold pressing something to have the natural oil. And then they're going to do things to try and stretch it to make it shelf life last long. If you have a garden, what you pick that day is what you should eat. Anything that sits over that loses its environmental friendly wealth of health. Okay? That's why it's important to grow, people. I grew up, we didn't buy fruits and vegetables at no store until I got into high school. We were picking it out of a garden. It wasn't messed with, adulterated. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I will. Once it loads up, I'll go back and I'll check the which card and be able to pull it up. I can't. Wait, I can do it over here. I forgot. My duh, James. Come on. Okay. Excuse me. Turn it down. Okay. It's still on. All right, so let me see here. Why do they always do that when I come into my own lives? All right, there we go. All right, I'm checking out the store right now, hon. The Studio Reclaim. Hindu. Okay, I'm gonna peep this out later. Okay, all right, absolutely. The Studio Anatomy. So it's a store too. And let's see what's at the store right quick. Hold on. Ebooks, Nano Silver, Carbon 60, Boomer Products. Jesus Christmas. Anyway, all natural anti-aging box. Be careful of buying things, and remember what I said about growing stuff. But it's good to always get into things and have the third parties, but also be careful when they have a lot of these so-called scientists and everybody out there. It doesn't mean that the smock, the hood, and all the baklava and all that doesn't mean that they're not attempting to make sure it's the best product. But just be mindful. Just getting one store when there's 1,000. And the best thing you do is grow your own olive tree, especially there in Texas. You grow your own olive tree. You know that? Aloe vera and a whole slew of other things. I wish Trauma Hawk was on here. It's just amazing when it's yours and you're not always. And I know people are busy, but you got to think about the times that we're in. All right, I don't want to beat the dead horse in the head with that. That's a fact. I've been following him for about 4 years. Go on, keep passing. That's great. But regardless, when you ask me something, I'm gonna respond. So remember that. All right, everything we do don't mean it's all perfect and right, okay? But it doesn't mean that it's wrong either. It means we ask a question because it's important to know something, that not based on impromptu decisions and everything. This is what I do. I'm not going to say whether it's a fact. I'm going to say look further, because when I was doing Joe Weider and we went overseas and all of a sudden we see all this stuff and they were like, be careful, a lot of this stuff is steroids. And we're like, okay, but you want to test it for it. But they say, but this is what we're using. And we had officers who were powerlifters and another were popping aspirins every day and all, getting nosebleeds. And we said, something's wrong. And then we started learning that Joe Weider stuff wasn't the best. It was his name that he was selling. I mean, that bus right there, right? The Joe Weider head on it. Let me tell you about, and that's why I don't have a problem with saying about the ones who converted to our religion and the Zionists. That's Robbie Robertson's body. They're thieves. I share the information to bring things, Gujarat, Talmudic, Hindu, all those things, not to be dismissive, but to point things out, regardless of how they relate or rationalize out to the people. That Sandow, that Sandow, he's a racist, and he's one of them. And then Joe Weider statue, that one right there, that body was supposed to be Robbie Robinson. Just like Charlie Brown, right? They didn't want him to have a black friend who was actually an Indian. Nobody knows these things. So what do? I'm going to relinquish some things to have you look at them. Because that's what I do. And I'll mess with you if you're not careful. I need everybody to be strong. Don't get off because I'm going to hit you upside the head sometimes and say, listen, you think that the stuff that I'm sharing with you, like I just came over it by night? No. I research, call, chat. Who's your head man? What's the CEO? Who is he in relationship? Does he work with BlackRock? Blah, blah, without saying a whole lot. This is which called off the charity of the Vatican. What? I look at everything I can find on the company, then I start asking people who might know more back in New York, like in the gyms and because them guys on gear, they know a whole lot of stuff from going to South America, black market, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to, I can't put everything out. Whenever y'all give me stuff, I like that. So be ready for a response. And what I'm saying is to benefit you, not to harm you. So check your emotions and feelings, get in tune, and really listen and pay attention to everything. Not saying they're facts, more research. Apply this stuff, loved ones, okay? Okay. And I appreciate you guys. This is what I do. Literally, all right? Damn, it's hot up in here now, bro. I'm ready to get up and get in the sauna. I mean, in the cold pool. But the olive tree, I plan on here. I want to get the right strain of olive tree. I want to say this. I've been looking to see if I can find or get a Moroccan olive trees. Hey, look how the floor is breathing, bro.
Oh yeah.
Shut up. Anyway,
That's what knocked over the damn.
Yeah. A Moroccan olive tree would be perfect out here. How much though? Probably a good arm and a leg, but I have to find out. I have to keep researching until I find something that is just as good or as good. And you really got to take care of these things. Like I grew a lemon tree on a reservation, and people say it was impossible. It took a lot of water and nurturing and caring. Oh my goodness. And the germinating the seeds and, you know, the towel, the cup, the sprout, and then getting and mixing the red clay. I had to mix the red clay with a certain compost. I had to make sure that the lemon tree's roots could get in that red clay because it gets hard when it gets low. You know what I'm saying? It gets really hard. And when it started to grow, I was like, oh, I'm going to grow a grape tree out here. By that time, I had poison. I was like, I'm out of here. The lemon tree, my boy said, he said, I think it's still growing, but he said it might be dead. He says, they don't hardly see nobody over there. I was like, oh, okay. So we can grow anything pretty much anywhere. And, you know, right now, this G, right, wants people to buy land at a very cheap price that the soil is not mineralized. It's not about your benefit, about health and wealth or anything. That's why I say a lot of you are in the right place to be able to do things. But you also be mindful of what's coming down the board. And if you are purchasing things, I'm with you. But it doesn't mean when I say research, it doesn't mean don't use it. But it's a way to use stuff. Like you saw me drink that, right? Yesterday and today. I'm gonna drink it 2 more days, maybe 3 more days. And that's it for about a month. Because I still take moringa, which is, I don't take it 3 or 4 times a day. I take it once a day, 3 to 4 pills. I'm eating once a day. So I don't, and there's days I don't want to take nothing. Your stomach, you can get it on a regular routine, right? That is very addictive. I don't want to do that. Like, I like to eat late, right? But then there are times when I'm like, eat early, and then throughout the evening, we'll enjoy whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or we don't eat nothing. Or, you know what I'm saying? Smoothies. That's one thing I do enjoy. We got to get some more blueberries. You know what I'm saying? Smoothies are great, but it's also important to eat your fruit. Because your mouth has enzymes that you're around your teeth and your gums that when you chew, your tongue, and under your tongue, a little squirty thing, and they create these enzymes that are important for your, you know what I mean? Your trach and all, and your stomach and all that. And a lot of people think a smoothie is going to be the answer. No, sometimes you got to eat, saliva going and everything, because it plays a thing on fulfillment and also information passed from the fruit and vegetables because it's energy. You know what I mean? That's why I always tell people, if you're buying meat, be careful, because some of those animals are under duress, stress, and that stuff is transferred to the meat, and you eat it wondering what's going on. I'm trying to inform y'all of something that most people don't know. When you go into those markets and you get that meat, that information from that animal that you want, well, that sentient life, they want to say is not sentient, it's a dumb animal, and all these foolish individuals, they're living. And they know what's about to happen, unlike you. That fear is transferred. And it's alive even after they've been butchered up. And that energy is transferred to you. I told you we're not the same. We don't need to worry about what that means. Sometimes you got to pay attention. Okay? That's for everybody. That's my little sister there. She was with Jamil Shamsi and his wife the other day, y'all. They're all in Texas, so yeah, they can go through Texas. That's a regular Negro thing. They can't come to Arizona and this, that, and the other. People got a little docket and they got to afford the gas. But I could travel everywhere. I can go around the country. I can do this. But well, don't make me get on y'all. I get on you now, and then when nothing y'all can say or do. But look there like this. Be like that cat. Or you could be like the one that's playing with the blind going, and attack my toe. But most times you're going to be like this. As if you smelt something. And you doubt that. No. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. All right. I'm going on a 2-hour mark. This is fun. See you guys later. All right. Beautiful sisters and brothers. Cashapp is Engine Jim with that little fake $, which is not a $. It's a spell. Okay. See you guys a little later. All right. Because we'll be coming back on to read something else today. I want to read some of that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stuff. We know it's a ploy there. Don't worry about it. Don't politic on it. Okay. All right. So I appreciate you guys. See y'all a little later.